So we're going to be teaching about how Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 are alike and how they're different. Chapter 3, you guys worked really hard on before winter break on solving multi-step equations. You did all these great equations. You worked hard on your white test, and then you had the blue test version. You even had a practice test that was green. Really important, really good things. So that was solving equations. Chapter 4 is very much the same, but you're solving inequalities. What are you solving? Inequalities. So inequalities, please notice, Chapter 3 was all about an equal sign. So you can highlight it and mark up your ISN notes however you feel. We're on ISN page 71. Chapter 4 is solving inequalities. This first inequality, what is this one called? Is it an L or is it a backwards L? Backwards L. So is it greater than or less than? Greater than. The one that looks like an L is what? Less than. What if you put an equal sign underneath it? This is greater than or what? Equal to. And the last one, everybody say it. Less than or equal to. Those are the four inequalities. Now, you may say that an equal sign with a slash on it is also an inequality, but that's very rarely seen. How are they alike? I'm going to say the number. You're going to read what the words say. How are they alike, you guys? Tell me the first thing that they're alike. Step number 1 is what? Begin with the line. So you down, draw your line. On the sign, draw your line. What's number 2? Inverse operation. Okay, please highlight this. What is the inverse operation of addition? Subtraction. What's the inverse operation of subtraction? Inverse of subtraction is addition. Everybody answer all these. What's the inverse operation for multiplication? Division. What's the inverse operation for division? Multiplication. So those two operations get partnered up just like that. Number 3, what does it say you have to do? Do the math. You do the math. And number 4, do what? State solution. Solution is also called the what? Answer. Great. When we do this, we always do it where? On both sides. Highlight that thing. On both sides. Super duper important. Now, how does Chapter 4 differ from Chapter 3? What are we going to do that's different? Well, this is how it works. Chapter 3 had exact answers. Follow along my little marker here. They had exact answers like A equals -7. But Chapter 4, the answers are a starting point on a number line. So A is greater than -7. That means A could be -2, A could be 0, A could be 5, A could be a million. It's anything, but it can't be worse than owing $7. Maybe you have special credit at a store, and as long as you use less than $7, they give you credit. Maybe you have a brother who loans you money, but he's like, nah, not a penny over $7. You owe me $7. I'm not lending you anything more. So this is the idea of an inequality. It's a starting point on a number line. Now, graphing. Chapter 3, we didn't have any graphs, but if you had to graph it, it would just be a dot on a number line. See that? This is a dot showing graph of A equals -7. It's just a point. But with Chapter 4, graphs, we have open or closed circles. Please hold your fingers where your thumb is touching your index and other fingers. This is open circle. Say open circle. Now, make your fists closed. That's going to be closed circle. Okay, look up here. Draw arrows to match. This one is a closed circle. See how it's all the way colored in? We're going to nickname this extra or equal to line the crayon. The what? The crayon. Very cool. Now, I'm going to make a different color. Please draw this in so you can see. Oh, no. It's not working. Okay. I'm going to pause. Okay, it paused beautifully. Sorry, we were recording. So if you have any questions or anything for anybody, that's fine. Hey, Christy. Yes, thank you. Bye. So Henry, you're getting picked up. We're making the video, so we're doing great. I have no idea how many minutes we're doing, but you guys are doing a great job. That fourth period, we tried to do the video, but it took way too long. And this is a skill that kids need to go over and over again, so I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel also, the graphing inequalities. It's not super important, but it's one of those things that we want to hit. We don't want them to have questions on their CASP test. They're like, I've never seen this before in my life. And it's not that hard. You guys, can you tell Miss Theodore, what was the analogy for if you have a negative coefficient? What was the analogy? That's a story that helps you remember what's going to happen here. Who your friends are. Yep. Who is the story about? Who said those things? Me and my grandma, my abuelita, yeah? Abuelita. So my grandmother would say, tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. Look at this again. If the coefficient is negative, that means you divide by the coefficient -4 on both sides, and that means the sign is going to flip around. It's one of the strangest things you will ever see in math. It's just an anomaly. It's just weird. But you're going to be masterful if you remember it. It only happens about 1 out of every 4 times, but it is definitely going to show up on your CAS test. It shows up every year. It's a thing. Okay, so we're going to go back to recording. Is everybody okay? Any questions? Okay, so I'm going to go here. Do you guys understand the concept of a non-example? That means it's not the twist. It's not where the sign flips. The sign just stays. Boom. Same. Everybody do that? Make the less than symbol with your fingers and then just drop it down. 3 out of 4 times that happens. So it's like this, it's like this, it's like this. 3 out of 4 times it happens. But sometimes when you multiply or divide by a negative, the sign flips around. Okay, here we go. Everybody's ready? Okay, sit up straight. Look like you're ready. Nothing on your head.
It's my hair.
It's not. Okay.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
So how would they know that time that the sign flips? How do they know? I missed that.
So let me go back. So there's 4 choices with inequalities. We did a comparison of how chapter 3 and chapter 4 compare to each other. They worked really hard on chapter 3. They worked super hard that last week, especially doing solving equations. Chapter 3 and chapter 4 exactly alike, the same steps. They draw the line down, they undo on both sides. Then chapter 4 is instead of an equal sign, it's an inequality sign. And then one little difference, all these things for how are they different? Here it's an exact answer, here it's an inequality symbol, and it's a starting point on the line. Here there's no graphs, here there are graphs with open or closed graphing. It's closed if it has or equal to and it includes the answer. Difficulty level, this has less work. You didn't have to graph, but we did the formal checks. This has a little bit work. And these are the 4 symbols. This is the one thing with more rules. I've nicknamed this extra rule the twist. If ever you multiply or divide on both sides by a negative number, the inequality sign flips to the opposite. So less than will turn to greater than will turn to less than. Less than or equal to turns to greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to turns to less than or equal to. It's just an anomaly. It's just weird. And it only happens how often, you guys? What fraction? 1 out of every 4. 1 out of every 4. Well, they're looking to see the coefficient, what's right in front of the variable, just the negative. And only with multiplying and dividing, never with adding and subtracting. So the coefficient is the number. Everybody do coefficient variable. Let's do that one. Ready, go. Coefficient variable. Again, coefficient variable. Again, coefficient. Other switch hands, switch hands, switch hands. Coefficient is always the taller number that's in front of the what? Variable. Variable looks like what? A letter, exactly. A letter. You got 26 choices. Sorry, what? It is a letter. It is a letter. Okay, so we're going to pick it up right here, and I'm going to pick up with the idea of a non-example and an example. Okay, and this is just their very first exposure to this thing. So, Miss Theodore, you see what's going on. Okay, so here we go. I need to get my stylus out. Hopefully it's charged nicely. Looks like it's pretty good, and I think I'm good. Okay, so here we go. Okay, but just don't make any sounds. Okay, wait. We have 3 people that need to go. So really quietly, because you guys have it recorded, really quietly, you need to go. Who has to go the worst out of the 3 of you guys? Okay, I'm going to let you go. When you come back, I'm going to let you go, and then you go third. But quietly. Is that gum in your mouth? Spit. Now. Thank you. He's all right. He's all right. We're all learning. Don't get into trouble. You can't go to the dance. You can't go to the games. You can't do anything. It's true. If you get 2 days detention because of chewing gum at school, you can't go to any of the fun activities. So please, no. Thank you. Okay, so everybody's good? Everybody's nice and quiet? We're going to keep going. You're doing a great job. Here we go. All right. So I'm thinking that it's recording right now. Do you guys think it's recording right now? Okay, good. So we're going to go back to the idea of an example and a non-example. When you have 6m is greater than 24, that is an example of a regular inequality, and the sign is just going to come straight down. So everybody please highlight the greater than sign, even draw a little arrow down, and bring it straight down. M is greater than 4. You divided by the coefficient on both sides, divided by 6 on both sides. 24 divided by 6 is positive 4. It is not a negative in front of the 6, so the coefficient's not negative, so the sign just comes straight down. That's most of the time it's going to happen like that. 75% of the time, 3 out of 4 times, easy peasy. Now let's look at how you're going to graph it. You're going to take this 4, and where does it go on the number line? In the middle, yes. In the middle, you're going to put 2 numbers to the left that are less and 2 numbers that are greater to the right. So just go by ones. So 4 went in the middle. What's less than 4? 3 and 2. What's greater than 4? 5 and 6. Beautiful. Now, you're going to start always with an open circle. It's going to stay an open circle because it doesn't have the crayon. If it had, bless you, if it had this little line underneath here, we'd nickname that the crayon, and we'd fill in this circle because 4 is included in the answer. But it doesn't have that, so we're not going to fill it in, and that's called an open circle. Please write open circle. Open circle. Okay, now we're going to go to an actual example of the twist. Negative 4x is less than or equal to negative 16. Now, it doesn't matter if this negative 16 is a positive or a negative. What matters is this guy is negative, the coefficient. This is the coefficient, negative 4. Because the coefficient is negative, you're going to divide by the coefficient, negative 4, on both sides. Did she just say divide by negative 4 on both sides? Annie M, it's a twister, it's a twister. Do you guys know that reference? Movie reference, old movie. Used to start off in black and white and then it turns to color. Anybody seen it? The Wizard of Oz, exactly. Nice call. So The Wizard of Oz is a movie about a tornado, and this kind of reminded me of a tornado because the symbol that I used was kind of switching it around. It's like, woo, it switched around. It used to be less than or equal to, now it's greater than or equal to. Why? Because the coefficient was negative and you're doing the operation of multiplying or dividing. Now, let's look at the graph. It has the crayon down here. It has the or equal to line. So we use that to color in the circle.
That's crazy.
It's fun. Let's go downward. When does the sign flip for inequalities? Show an example and a non-example. The sign flips when we multiply or divide by negative numbers on both sides. Here, this is showing multiplication. This wasn't here. On your paper, it's not there. What is the invisible coefficient in front of the one, in front of the x?
1.
It's a 1. But because it's got a negative here, what is the total coefficient in front of that x? Everybody say it out loud. What is it? Negative 1. Okay, so because you're multiplying by a negative 1, this sign is going to switch around and it's going to turn to be the opposite. This one is not going to turn around because the coefficient is a positive 1. Positive 1. So this sign is just going to stay the same. It's just going to come straight down. It's not going to twist around. Please take 30 seconds to make up your own example of when you're going to use the twist and another example of when you're going to bring the inequality sign straight down. Put it in this area, please. You have 30 seconds. All right, so your examples are better than mine. A non-example that you might have chosen would be like 5a is less than 10. And you know to solve this, you divide by the coefficient on both sides, and it's a positive 5. So nothing is going to change. Just like you did in chapter 3, you're going to have a and a 2, but instead of an equal sign, you now have an inequality sign. And you're done. Let's take that same exact question. No percussion, please. No sounds. Extra. Thank you. 5a is less than 10, but in order to make an example, what does the coefficient have to be? Negative. Okay, so everybody please make this into a negative 5. Now, I got a little too close. You're going to divide by the coefficient. Please turn to your math mate. Tell me, what is the coefficient the number in front of A? Be careful. It's what? No, it's not 5. It's -5. So good. So this is where my grandmother would start to worry about her grandchildren because you have too much negativity around you. So the sign is going to switch. A, and it's going to turn to the opposite direction. A is greater than, and then you just do the math on the other side. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 1 negative means it's going to be -2. And that's it. All right, this is going to take some getting used to. Don't worry. We're going to move on now to the page that is for your homework. Page 74, but before that, we're going to do page 73. So you guys, mine are a little bit out of order. Here's page 73. Everybody look at page 73. Please read the block that is in black. The block that is in black. Okay, so this is exactly the song that one of our students was hearing and just thinking of and singing. That's exactly right. So everybody, please sing along with this song. This is to help you with any number lines you ever work with. Make an L with your left hand, please, and sing along. Ready, go. To the left, stop. Make sure you're using your left hand, not your right hand. It's your hand closest to the door. There you go. This one. Perfect. Okay, go ahead and sing. To the left. Numbers are less when you go to the left. To the left. On a number line, least is to the left. So this is a little song, so you can remember that it's a song. Please put a musical note next to it. It helps. Now, here are all the steps written out in words in case you need to see it if you're a visual person, you like to read about it. I'm going to say the number, you're going to read the words. Steps for graphing inequalities. Number 1. That's your line, you guys. Number 1. Make a line with, okay, you guys see it? You're going to read what it says. Ready, go. Number 1. Make a line with 5 small lines. Number 2. Put answer under the middle small line. Put 2 numbers less to the left. Put 2 numbers greater to the right. Number 3, make a circle at the center for the endpoint. If or equal to line is included, fill in the endpoint. Everybody please pause right there. So this is a symbol of less than or equal to. Please draw a little extra to this, make it look like a crayon, and please label that as crayon. Ten seconds. Okay, let's all read the last line in number 3. It says, if no line, ready, go. If no line, leave open. So that means an open circle. Everybody show me open circle on your hand. Great. Now, in the song, down, down, draw your line, open circle is 2 hands. So show me a 2-handed open circle. 2-handed open circle. So at the end of down, down, draw your line, it says, now graph it by yourself. Yeah, graph it by yourself, right? So you remember the steps? Okay, let's go to number 4. Please draw eyes next to number 4. This is something at the end of the page, it's a challenge. And I want you to notice, you're going to be noticing something about the appearance of the inequality sign and the direction of the shaded arrow. We always shade in one side of our number line for the inequality. We're going to read about it. Okay, please read number 4. To see, everybody out loud, to see which side you shade, pick a number on either side to test to see which makes inequality true. Shade that side and its arrow. Okay, so you guys are going to be paying attention to what connection do you notice about the appearance of the inequality sign and the direction of the shaded arrow. So now you're going to be going back to back to the top of page 73. Write each inequality described, then graph the solution. Please take the words A is greater than 8 and write it on the line. What do you think A is greater than 8? Write it on the line. What's that going to look like? Quick, 3 seconds. A is greater than 8. Okay, check it. Did you get it right? If you got it right, say yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's what it's supposed to look like. For the number line, how many little lines does it have on it? 5. How many are you going to do for the rest of these? These blank lines. You're going to do how many lines? 1 in the middle and 2 on either side. How many lines total? 5, right, because it's in your directions. Make a line with 5 small lines. You can see it. If you have some trouble, you can go back to the directions. It's in words. Okay, now we're going to go back to graphing the first one. Where does the 8 go? Where does the 8 go? In the middle. Excellent. Now, everybody tell me, what's less than 8? Just by 1? Out louder. 7. And what's less than 8? Less than 7? 6. Great. What's 1 more than 8? 9. And 1 more than 9? 10. Terrific. It's going to be the same thing for this number line down here because it has the same answer. Okay, now, is this going to be an open circle or filled in? Everybody show me on your hands. Open circle or filled in? A is greater than 8. Open circle or filled in? Show me on your hands. Hurry. Open or filled in? Does it have the crayon? No. Does it include 8 in the answer? No. 8 is not good enough. So this is going to be an open circle. Everybody say open circle. A is better than 8. So could A be 7 or could A be 9? A could be 9. A is better than 8. Now you remember, you can think about this like a hungry Pac-Man. It eats the best thing. A is better than 8. So A could be 9. So we're going to go to that side, put a little dot here, and that means the side where the 9 is the side that gets shaded in. So please shade in right directly on top of the line and make sure that the arrow is bold in that direction. Now, what does this mean in real life? This means 8 is not included in the answer, but anything greater than 8, 8.5, 8.1 is fine. What does this mean? Well, let's say that your mom said that you needed to go to the store and you needed to buy something that cost more than $8. Could you go to the store and buy, and could you take $8 and get the thing? No. She didn't know how much more it cost than $8, but she remembered it was more than $8. That's what this looks like. It doesn't include the 8. If it did color in, that means the 8 is included. That means the price of something cost exactly $8, or it was $8.50, or it was $9, or it was $11, or it was whatever. It's more than $8. But in this case, the 8 is not included. Sometimes if you're going to an amusement park, it says you must be this tall to ride this ride. Could you be exactly that tall?
No.
You can. You have to be exactly that tall. Could you be shorter than that? No. So sometimes the number in the middle is included. That's when you have a filled in equal sign. And sometimes it's not included. It's not good enough. It's not a part of the solution. And it's an open circle. Okay, so let's try that. That is a done graph. What is the variable that this orange part represents? What variable is that first one, you guys? Read it.
Pac-Man.
Nope.
A.
A. So please draw an A above this. This orange colored in spot is all what A is. Okay, now please try the next one. And remember that it's got is less than or equal to. So something is different with the less than or equal to. Pausing. Okay, A is less than or equal to 8. That's going to be A is less than, it looks like an L, less than or equal to 8. Now, you guys, this is going to be an open circle or filled in? Filled in. It's got the what at the bottom? What do we nickname that thing? Or equal to. Yep, it's got the crayon. So this is how it's going to look. Now you can test either side. A is less than or equal to 8. So which numbers on here are going to be less than 8?
8.
7 and 6. Great, shade that side. So if you're not sure, you can always take a question number from either side, 7 or 9. In this case, the 7 side is the answer, so we shaded that side. Okay, everybody please try these two. 7 is less than C and graph it. 7 is greater than or equal to C and graph it. I'm pausing. Okay, so that's what your number line should look like. The students transferred the expressions from words into the way that they should look with numbers and the symbols. 7 is less than C. Class, is this going to be an open circle or filled in? Open. It doesn't have the crayon. Open circle. And which way are you going to shade? To the left or the right? To the right. 7 is less than C. So could C be 6 or could C be 8? Yes, it could be 8. So this is the answer. So that's the side you shade. That's you testing out which side works and bolding in the arrow. Same for this next one. 7 is greater than or equal to C. Is this an open circle or filled in? Filled in. So I'm going to make this blue color. It's got the crayon. I'm going to use that to color in the circle. And we're graphing it. And which way are we going to color? To the left or the right?
Right.
Okay, so 7 is better than C. So C, could C be 6 or could C be 8? It's going to be 6 this time because 7 is better. See the hungry mouth? Remember, think of the Pac-Man. Hungry mouth is always going to choose the best thing. 7 is better than 6. If you're talking about your favorite cookies, 7 of them is better to have than 6. Okay, now you're going to color the side with the 6 on it. That's this side. So you shade in the whole side and the arrow. Now, did anybody notice something special about this last question? This last question, looking. What connection do you notice about the appearance of the inequality sign and the direction of the shaded arrow? Let's take a bright color like orange. Here, the inequality sign is this direction. It's pointing to the right. Look at the arrow shading. It is also pointing what? Use your pen and your highlighter, please. It's pointing to the what?
Right.
To the right. They match. Hold your hand up. This symbol, am I doing it the right direction? Sorry, it's this way. Sorry, it's backwards for me. It matches the arrow. So if you were to just put the arrow here, it's going to match up perfectly, right? Should be that way. Perfectly, it matches. Look at the next one. A is less than. It's pointing to the left. And the arrow tip is pointing to the left. It matches. Is that always going to work? That's so easy. That's so easy. But does it always work? No, look at the next one. This one, it says, it's pointing to the left, but look at this guy. It's pointing to the what? Right. So they are opposites. Please write opposites. Now you got to figure out why are these top two exactly the same, and now we're getting to opposites. Let's check the fourth one. Here, it's pointing to the right, and pointing to the right would be this way. It's not that way. It's the opposite. So it's not the same. So it's the opposite again. It's the opposite. Write in opposite. Now, let's be observant. Why do you think the arrows either match or are opposite? I'm going to pause. Okay, they figured it out. Yay! So this is the way that it is. Variable on the left, inequality sign matches the arrow. Variable on the right, inequality sign is the opposite of the arrow. Please write that in. It was the variable that is the ticket to help you see the special connection. And that's all we have for this video. Thank you for helping us with solving inequalities or graphing inequalities. And next we're going to go on to solving inequalities.